I was sitting at home, doing nothing really, when my phone rang. The woman on the other end sounded desperate. She needed a babysitter, and she needed one now. I could hear the urgency in her voice. Something about it felt off. But the pay was good, better than usual. So, I agreed. One night I told myself, what's the worst that could happen? When I pulled up, the house seemed normal enough. Modern, big, kind of secluded. But as I walked up to the door, this uneasiness hit me. Something wasn't right. Mrs. Winters opens the door. Mrs. Winters, the woman who hired me, looked intense. Her smile was tight, her eyes darting around like she was nervous about something. She rushed me inside and handed me a piece of paper before practically running out the door. And that's when things got weird. There were these specific rules. Do not open the window in Daniel's room. If you hear knocking at the door, do not answer it. Keep the closet door in Daniel's room closed at all times. Do not go into the basement for any reason. I remember thinking, what kind of babysitting job is this? But whatever, it's just one night, right? I enter the room where Daniel sits on the bed, not moving, just staring at the wall. When I first met Daniel, he barely acknowledged me, just sat there, staring at the wall. The room felt wrong. It was colder than the rest of the house, and there was this strange suffocating stillness to it. The rules said to keep the closet door closed, and for some reason, I couldn't stop looking at it. It was just a closet, but it gave me chills. Daniel finally broke the silence, saying, "She doesn't like the window closed." Who was she? He didn't answer, just kept staring at the window. As the night dragged on, things only got stranger. Daniel was quiet, almost too quiet. Then, out of nowhere, there was a knock at the front door. I froze. The second rule was clear: do not open the door. But Daniel just stood there, staring at it, like he was waiting for something. I had to stop him. "Daniel, we can't open it," I whispered. But he just stared at the door and said, "She needs me." The knock echoes again, louder this time. I pulled him away, but the tension in the air was suffocating. Something, or someone, was out there. Without warning, Daniel bolted out of the room and headed straight for the basement. I raced after him, but the fear in my chest was growing. I wasn't supposed to go down there. The fourth rule, don't go into the basement. But there he was, opening the door. I couldn't stop him. I step into the basement, and the atmosphere changes, dark, cold, unsettling. The air in the basement was freezing, thick with something I can't even explain. And in the corner, Daniel found this old photo on a dusty table. The photo was of Mrs. Winters and another woman. Daniel told me, "That's my aunt. She died in a car accident." But the way he said it, it was like she never really left. Suddenly, a cold, rasping voice whispers, "She never deserved you." That's when I heard it. A voice coming from the shadows, a voice filled with rage and jealousy. I turned, and there in the darkness was a figure. A woman, twisted and contorted, her eyes filled with malice. It was her, Aunt Vivian, and she wasn't here for a family reunion. Before I could react, Daniel was lifted off the ground, his eyes rolling back into his head. The spirit was trying to take him. I had to stop her. I had to find something, anything, to break her hold. That's when I saw it. An old vase sitting on a shelf. It had her name on it, Vivian Price. I grabbed it and ran, the wind howling through the house, as if she knew what I was about to do. I didn't have time to think. I buried the vase in the ground, and as soon as I covered it with dirt, the wind stopped. Everything went still. I rushed back inside, heart pounding. The basement was quiet now. The oppressive feeling was gone. I pulled Daniel into my arms. The spirit was gone. The rage and jealousy that had twisted Aunt Vivian in death was finally buried with her ashes. Mrs. Winters came home later, and I didn't ask any questions. I just wanted to leave. That house, those rules, it wasn't normal. And I knew one thing for sure: I wasn't coming back.